They're trying to sell camping like it's freedom. Open roads, peace, bliss, a promise that if you just pack light and keep moving, America will open up to you. Well, I'm here to tell you that is a line of bullshit if I've never heard it myself. The road, however, does tell the truth, because the farther you travel, the more that you realize that camping isn't really an escape from America's problems. It's a front row seat to them. Gas draining your wallet. Thank you to state of Maryland. Thank you to state of California. Speed traps waiting to eat it. You heard it. Speed traps for RVers. We're going to get into that. Towns that don't want outsiders around. And lately, they don't want you gone. They are making it policy. Check this out. So when you start talking about the bullshit politics of camping, okay? Camping in America has a different look depending on what you're trying to go for. Now, camping in America, the way they want you to see it, is a perfectly parked RV on an empty overlook. Sunrise over the mountains. Kids laughing, coffee steaming, no neighbors, no problems, just you, the road, and freedom. And that is the version that you get that is on camping billboards. Influencer feed sponsored by brands that never show a receipt. Now, here is camping in America the way that it really is. We talking gas prices that change by the mile. We talking campgrounds charging luxury prices for gravel and a whole bunch of rules. We are talking about no overnight parking signs blooming overnight like weeds in a garden. Speed limits that drop the moment you stop being local. The dream says anywhere. Yeah. But the reality says almost nowhere. Why is that? Crazy Keon, why do you bring this to the table? Everyone waves in the America that camping is the way America wants you to see it. Every town is friendly. Every campground is a community. Camping in America the real way that it is. You're welcome until you stay too long. Friendly until you ask to park overnight. A community until somebody decides you don't belong. Freedom with conditions. Welcome to America, baby. You about to get the real look of what camping is in America. And I'll let you decide. Take the red pill and you see it through rose glasses. Take the blue pill and you'll know the truth. And the truth will make you free. So let's get down to the bottom line truth to this whole thing, all right? America is deeply flawed, but Mama used to say something that is very true in this situation as well. Not every place, not every campground, not every municipality operates like this. The problem is a few bad apples spoil a bunch. And unfortunately, we got some apples with some worms in it in the United States of America. See, what camping does, camping turns America into a political map, not only that's tangible, but you can feel that rascal. You understand what I'm saying? You don't need cable news to tell you what's going on. You don't need social media to dictate what's happening. All you got to do is drive. That's it. Every county line feels a little bit different. Talk about Turner County, Georgia. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have called them out, but I am. But that's one of them. Every town has its own rules, its own energy, its own definition of who belongs and who don't. And that's politics. That's politics at work. Not speeches, power. Who gets to stay, who gets watched, who gets pushed out quietly. So nobody has to say the ugly part out loud. Now, I know y'all trying to figure out why in the world are you talking about speed traps? Because who in the world pulls over a motorhome? Who pulls over an RV? Yeah, it's happening. Turner County. Yeah, it's happening. And it's happening because they claim that it is about safety. I know I got some law enforcement that watch my show. Forgive me for this. You might want to turn on this part. Speed traps ain't never been about nobody's safety. Never have, never will. Whoever said that was a doggone lie. It's another lie to say protect and serve on the side of a cruiser, because the reality is, you want to protect me? Give me that gun, give me that vest, and I probably could shoot better than you. I can protect myself. You're not my personal bodyguard. You're just not. So just like you're not really there to protect and serve, you ain't there about safety when it comes to speed traps. It's all about two things. You ready for this? Sit back, baby. Control and revenue. You got it. It's about that roll. They catch people who don't know the town. They take care of catching people who don't vote there. They catch people off guard, people who don't have a lawyer on speed dial. See, that's the same logic about Baltimore City and over-policing, okay? That was the issue that they had many years ago. Selective enforcement, same logic. Laws on the books that look neutral, see, but them jokers hit different when it comes to outsiders. Outsiders get hit hardest. So camping exposes American law and order, how it works in practice. Rules are flexible as long as you belong there, and rigid when you don't. Sound like the streets, don't it? Mm-hmm. So now you got to ask yourself the question, who the hell belongs in America? Right now, America is obsessed with one question. Who belongs here? Ain't that what's all over social media and the news? See, you hear it in debates about immigration, voting rights, wait a minute, I get these always messed up. Hold on. LGBTQ. Okay, got it. Their existence, housing, homelessness. But on the road, it's not theoretical. It's a look when you pull into town. It's a sign that says, oh, no overnight parking. It's a knock on your door at 2 a.m. Camping strips the conversation down to its raw form. Belonging isn't about citizenship, it's about comfort. And comfort, baby, is political. Now, let's talk about RVs, because this is where this nightmare gets real ugly. More people in large municipalities are living in RVs, not because it's the trendy thing to do. It's because housing is broken. You know who broke that? A crooked politician. My mama might be saying this. I gotta be careful how I say this. Rent is out of control. Y'all know that. Wages damn sure haven't caught up. And owning a home is a fantasy for a growing number of Americans, when 80% of Gen X, millennials, and Y are locked out of the housing market because they can't make enough money to buy a house. Some people adapt. They live in RVs, vans, converted buses, and instead of crooked politicians addressing the issue for what they are, addressing the housing crisis, many towns do something simply because it's easier. They tow them. Not because they're dangerous, not because they're violent, but because they're visible. You know, cities pass ordinances banning overnight RV parking. This is what they're doing. They limit how long an RV can stay, even on public streets, with legitimate tags and a quality looking unit. They enforce the code selectively. And just like that, living becomes illegal. Ain't that some shit? So Crazy Keon, you've been on this rant for a minute about RVs being towed and all that good stuff. Why? Well, here's the deal. Towing is not neutral, okay? Towing is punishment disguised as regulation. I said it. It is what it is. See, when a city tows an RV, they're not just moving a vehicle, they are erasing somebody's shelter. And we have a homeless problem, especially with our veterans and our mentally ill. Man, why do you want to the whole process? Like, explain that to me. You're erasing somebody's transportation. Maybe this is how they get to work so they can earn a couple quarters to put back into society. You're erasing somebody's stability. It is what it is. And here's the quiet part nobody wants to say, but I'm obligated to say it because I have the platform to do it. Small towns, well, no, let me take it back. Not small towns. Some towns, simply large or small, they don't want solutions. They want displacement. That's what they want. See, they want a problem gone, not fixed. They make it expensive, inconvenient, unsafe to stay. And if the truth be told, this is also happening in our urban ghettos. But don't nobody want to wake up and see really what's going on. See, because if the truth be told, if you can't afford to fight it, you move or you lose everything. That right there is politics with a tow hook. Let me be real clear about something. This ain't just black folks having this issue. This hits veterans, seniors, working families, disabled folks. Some people are one medical bill away from losing everything. But race still shapes how hardly and harshly these policies land. Don't get me wrong. Who gets warnings? Think about it. Who gets fines? Who gets their rig tagged first? Camping and RV life don't erase inequality. They magnify it. Yes, sir. See, campgrounds, towns, parking ordinances, they all the same story on different scales. Freedom with conditions. Welcome until you stay too doggone long. Tolerance until you're inconvenient. America loves the idea of freedom, but struggles with people exercising it in a way that does not fit the image that America has presented to you, especially when freedom looks poor or mobile or different. So when we start talking about the politics of camping, okay, when people start asking why camping doesn't feel free anymore, it's because it ain't. It's because America doesn't feel free anymore. Just doesn't. The road didn't change. The political climate did. And if you are ignorant or turn a blind eye to it, you are going to around and find out. That's just what it is. Camping just removes the filters in which you're seeing things. It shows how fear turns into policy. It shows how discomfort turns into law. How not in my town becomes towing at dawn. It's not about hating the road. No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. It's about seeing it clearly, because freedom isn't just movement. Freedom is being allowed to exist, even when you don't fit the picture that's on the shiny brochure. And if you ever felt this out there, you're not imagining it. You're just seeing America parked, posted, and patrolled. Welcome to America, people. This is what it is. And as I bring this harsh truth to a close, let me just be real clear about something, okay? Camping, it plainly put, exposes American real politics. It's not red versus blue. It's not left versus right. So please don't go there. That's not what it is. It's inside versus outside. If you're rooted, you're protected. If you're mobile, you're monitored. If you don't belong somewhere long enough to vote, complain, or be known, your rights get real thin real quick. That is the America that you are going to see from the road. Just is what it is. So here's my question to you. If freedom only exists for people who look right, live right, and stay invisible, is that freedom at all? If towns would rather tow people than house them, what does that say about our values as human beings? If you're on the road or thinking about it, you need to know the truth, not the brochure. If you've lived this, drop your story in the comments. I'd love to see it and hear about it. Maybe get you on the show. If you're thinking about RV life, share this with somebody who needs the reality check. And if you care about what America is becoming when nobody's watching, subscribe. And most importantly, vote. That is your solution, because this conversation isn't about camping. You're right. You're absolutely right if that's what you're thinking. It's about who gets to exist in public space and who gets erased quietly. And that's a political poise and issue, whether people want to admit it or not.